Last week, we discussed that there was every indication that if John Boehner, Speaker of the House, Republican member of Congress, decided to hold a vote simply on funding government without including preconditions about defunding Obamacare, that there were the votes, meaning all Democrats and at least 17 Republicans to vote for it. Last week, it was an educated guess, speculation of sorts, and it has now been confirmed. ForwardProgressives.com has an article about this. Last night, according to a survey done by CNN, there are enough votes in the House of Representatives to reopen the government and end the shutdown. CNN did a survey. They found that there were 200 Democrats and 18 specific and confirmed Republicans who would vote in favor of the clean resolution that the Senate sent over prior to the shutdown. Remember that, ladies and gentlemen, prior to the shutdown, none of this was even remotely necessary. And it's just not happening. It depends on John Boehner calling a vote, and it has not been done. Why has it not been done, Lewis?
Well, I don't know if we can tell you why John Boehner is doing what he's doing exactly. Who knows if he even knows? But I do know that this should not be in the hands of one person. It doesn't make sense. I mean, the system needs to change.
No question about it. And President Obama, speaking directly about this obstruction, he said, quote, "The truth of the matter is there are enough Republican and Democratic votes in the House of Representatives right now to end this shutdown immediately with no partisan strings attached, of course, like defunding all of Obamacare, which was democratically passed and upheld by the Supreme Court." Think about this. Right now, we have a bill sitting in Congress that would pass the House of Representatives. It has already been passed by the Senate, and the president would sign it immediately and reopen government, except one man, John Boehner, won't allow it to come up for a vote. And as Alan Clifton writes on Forward Progressives, just imagine this situation for a moment. Imagine that Congress passed a bill 3.5 years ago, and a Republican president signed it into law. Then right before it's fully implemented, a Democratic-controlled House of Representatives decides to tie it to a budget bill in an attempt to block it. And in doing so, they refuse to allow a vote on a bill that a Republican-controlled Senate passed, a Republican president said they would sign, and that we know would pass the House if only Nancy Pelosi were to allow a vote, but she refused to do so. Do you know what would be going on right now on Fox News, on Rush Limbaugh, on conservative media? They would be screaming their heads off that this is just not constitutional, that this is circumventing the constitutional law and understanding of how we are supposed to pass bills. It would be a madhouse. But because the situation is reversed, and it's Republicans, supposedly the constitutional ones or something, according to the Tea Party, we're not hearing that at all, Lewis.
No, and I'm willing to bet that Nancy Pelosi would have been receiving multiple death threats, if not had attempts on her life made, to be perfectly honest.
I think you're absolutely right. So the double standard here, we talked yesterday about the 50-50 nonsense that's going on in terms of corporate media coverage of this. This is not a 50-50 thing. This is a Republican-led, and now Republicans are the barrier, the lone barrier that remains, and not the 18 Republicans that would vote to end the shutdown, specifically John Boehner, and simply not having a vote on this. Let's vote and see what happens. I don't even know if we're going to get that, Lewis, anytime soon.
Sounds like the Democratic thing to do. Hopefully Boehner comes to his senses.